second interview tips and tricks. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Zach with IT Career Questions, and today I am doing an Ask Me Anything, and this question comes from Mew Mew, and they asked, basically, I'll read it out to you guys just so it's clear. They said, "Hi, I was wondering if you had any tips into going to a second interview. I have a second interview coming up and I'm a nervous wreck, and me being an introvert does not help. Thank you in advance for your help." You're welcome in advance for my help. So, first of all, you have accomplished the pretty much, next best thing from that first interview, which is landing that second interview. So congratulations to you. Give yourself a pat on the back because that is huge. That's definitely a big thing. That does not always happen, and many people can tell you that. I can tell you that. You do not always land that second interview. That second interview chance just does not always happen for people. So that's a great thing. You should feel very accomplished and you should feel very happy. So the fact that you say that you're an introvert, really you should kind of throw that to the side and you should not even really think about that and stress yourself out about that, because obviously that wasn't even a factor to them and that landed you that second interview. So being an introvert, I totally get, I totally understand. I've been there before. It's something that you get over, and it's something that you can work on and work through basically every day in your life, especially working any type of job. You definitely will kind of outgrow those fears. So the tips that I can give you about the introvert thing has been things that I have left tips on in previous videos, and that is just trying to act out of your norm. And that is just basically trying to not be yourself in a way. Try to be somebody else during that interview, and that's slightly being somebody else during that interview. You're going to be nervous, right? And that's totally acceptable, and everybody understands that. And especially when you're at a second interview, that's even more nerve-wracking. And the people made it to that second interview for a reason. So whatever skills and whatever you said during that first interview obviously resonated to whoever you were speaking with during that first interview to land the second part. So just do whatever you did during that first one. Don't stress out about it. Don't beat yourself up over it. Don't worry about all the times that you sit there and stutter or fumble words. But, make sure you maintain that eye contact and make sure you maintain that posture and make sure at all times that you are just trying to stay somewhat as still as you possibly can. I know for me, sometimes I like to kind of shake my leg or, bounce my leg up and down. That's part of my nervousness, and that's something that I try to maintain under the table just as kind of a stress release for me, because I sometimes get really nervous myself. And even after doing this for, as long as I have, I still get nervous at these things. And the biggest thing that I do is I shake my leg, always try to, like I said, maintain that eye contact. That's huge. That's a big thing. So the next thing about that second interview is you're going to be asked probably a lot more complex questions at this point. They're going to be looking to ask more detailed questions about you and the type of person that you are. Typically, when they do a first and second interview process, the first interview is, getting a little bit of a general feel about you, a little bit of your history and things like that. And then they don't really dive too deep into the weeds on serious questions as far as, what would you do in this scenario and what would you do in that scenario, and, answer this technical question, things like that. So being prepared for that, that's a whole nother beast right there, because a lot of times, depending on the environment that you're going to, some of these questions can vary. So I can't really feed you all the answers because it could be different for every single one. But what you can try to be prepared for is to not know the answer, and not knowing the answer is completely okay. Never be worried because you don't know the answer, and never beat yourself up over it during an interview if you don't know the answer. Just be honest about not knowing the answer. just say, I really don't know the answer to that question, but now I'm definitely going to go home and learn or teach myself about that very specific question that you asked me, because I love to learn. You need to counter anything that you don't know. So if you don't know something, you need to find a reason to counter that in a positive. So if you don't know something, sorry, I don't really know that. You're being honest about it, but I really want to learn more about that, so I'm definitely going to teach myself. So what that tells the person that's interviewing you is, one, you're honest about it. You're not going to lie to them and blow smoke up their butt about, something that you know nothing about. And two, that you're actually going to follow up and learn something about something that you don't know about. So those are two things that actually look really good for you, even though you don't know the answer, which is perfectly acceptable. You are not going to know everything. Nobody knows everything in the entire world, and that's okay. So I guess those are a few tips and tricks I guess I can give you for a second interview. I don't really want to take this video too long. A lot of my videos run way entirely too long. I apologize for that. So that's all I got for you guys today. Stay tuned for another video where I'll give you more tips and tricks on interview tips and tricks. So anyway, as always, I appreciate you guys watching, and of course, take it easy.